outcomes for the man, woman, and children, if they stay together in an intact family, are universally better than any other single dynamic we've ever seen.
Well, just because it's better than the other shit show doesn't mean it's optimal. It still doesn't mean that it's heaven.
Well, hang on. So unless you can give a counter to any family dynamic that works better than the nuclear cross-generational family, then you have no leg to stand on. And so here's what I'm going to do. Tell me a family dynamic which is better than a nuclear or cross-generational family. Just give me one.
I had an intact family unit with very abusive people.
Did you say that your parents are still married?
No, they're not still married. But my biological parents never got married. My mother, when I was 3, married my stepdad.
What are you talking about?
You're proving his point, girl.
You're proving my point.
At least Forrest Gump had enough sense to know he wasn't a smart man.
No, I'm not.
What does your hat say?
ICE.
What does that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement.
Hey, listen.
Have a nice day. Let's have a conversation.
If you can't control your emotions, you're a liability.
A stupid piece of racist, fascist movement showed up in DC. This is what I did. Women's rights, human rights. Ashley Babbitt, she deserved to die. Tell Mickey, I hope Ashley Babbitt's getting eaten by worms. I hope she's getting eaten by worms. I hope her eyeballs are rotting out of her body, dragged right to
Say that to this camera. I dare you.
Ashley Babbitt. You, Mickey.
Mainstream media is dying to know, is Twitter better or worse after Elon Musk has taken over? I need all of my free speech loving patriots to go to link in the bio right now, at least 10,000 of you guys to do it right now. Answer the one question, link in bio, prove them wrong right now.
You keep defining abortion as the murder of babies, which biological fact is you would say most abortions are done before they are actually babies. It's still just a fetus. So my question...
Do you know what the word fetus means?
It's just a cluster, a
That's
zygote
not what
developing
fetus
into
means.
a baby eventually.
The word fetus, it's a Latin word, and it just means offspring. That's all it means. It just means the next generation of a being. So, but that's what a baby is also. I mean, that's what you would call your adult child someday once he's grown, hopefully if he hasn't been murdered.
Can I ask my question?
Well, I'm just like to clarify this point. You would call your adult child your offspring too, but all of these terms that you might use, fetus, embryo, the one they love is zygote, which sounds like a Pokemon, but they use all these different terms, but it's all referring to the same being, and you were that being once. You, the person who's standing here right now.
Do any of us have a memory of being that being?
Oh, I mean, I don't have a memory of last Thursday, frankly. It's been a very busy week, but the lack of a memory doesn't mean that it's all right to murder me.
Well, anyways, my question is, you stress murdering babies a lot, but when it comes to murdering babies, kids, and everything in everyday shootings that keep happening, you say nothing. So I ask, why is it okay to murder babies when it's regulating women but not regulating guns?
No, I say quite a lot about that, actually. I think the crime is a terrible problem, and I think it's just awful that liberals have funded and intentionally installed liberal DAs who won't prosecute violent criminals. This has led to an increase in violent crime, and it's awful. I totally oppose that. But it's not me, and it's not my side that's funding that sort of thing. Now, you say, why wouldn't I want to regulate guns? Guns are very regulated in the United States as it is. And I've yet to hear one gun control proposal that would stop any of these shooting incidents that people talk about. People focus on the sensationalized ones from the news, a school shooting or a movie theater shooting. No proposed gun control legislation of the last 30 years would have stopped any of those. And the majority of the shootings are gang-related, and they're handgun shootings. And so I'm all for cracking down on those gangs and throwing them all in the can, but it's usually the liberals telling me that we have to abolish the police and go soft on crime, and they were just failed by society, and so we can't put them in prison, and we have to abolish the prisons too. That's not me. I'm all for it. You want to get me a bill, you want to elect me to office and get a bill in front of me that will crack down on gang crime and these gangsters using handguns to kill kids, let's do it. I'd sign that in 2 seconds. But it's not up to me, unfortunately. It's up to the side that I suspect you would consider yourself to be on.
No, it's up to a side that you're often a part of. And even if it's not you specifically, it's your friends and the people you support that just continue to, it's just, you aren't considering both sides and how, saying one thing can just contradict the other thing.
How do you think I've done that?
By saying you're murdering babies, blah, 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 just over and over again, but just not
It's a direct
mentioning
quote, I
any of the
think.
babies being murdered every single day in shootings that haven't even made it to major news outlets because they're so common.
No, well, that wouldn't be a contradiction or a hypocrisy or anything. I'm focusing on one particular issue called abortion, but I actually mentioned in the speech tonight that specifically on the issue of black people being murdered, 10,000 black people are murdered every year with guns and knives and hammers and the like, but 242,000 black people at the very least are murdered through abortion. So that would seem to be a more pressing issue, but I brought it up. I'm all for trying to reduce the murder rate. Unfortunately, liberal DAs are not allowing us to do that. So you're more than welcome to convince your fellow liberals to stop funding these people and to start arresting criminals. But my side of the political aisle has been arguing to arrest and keep those criminals locked up for a very long time. And so there's very little we can do if the other side of the aisle won't work with us.
Nobody is smarter than a teenager repeating the things a teacher told them to say.
You want to talk about morality? The Bible is the most immoral book ever written. Ever. It advocates for slavery, for rape, for genocide, for subjugation of women. That's what the Bible says. You want to come out here and disrupt people's lives?
I asked you what was hateful.
Take your Bible and shove it up your ass.
What was
dude.
hateful? You're going to say all you want to say and then walk away? Are you afraid of what I'm going to say?
No, we're not.
Are you afraid of my response?
Go home and spend time with your family.
Yeah. So
Go home and spend time with your family.
the New
You wanna
Testament.
spend time with
The
our
New
family.
Testament.
Afraid of anything you got to say.
Well, why'd you walk away?
No reason for you
Why'd
to
you
be
walk away?
here. No reason.
So listen, the New Testament, it talks about if you're a slave, then if you can get free, then get free.
This
But if
motherfucker
you
gonna get
can't,
coming to him. He gonna die soon anyway.
so it talks about if you can get free, then get free.
But then in Exodus it says flat out, you can do
There's
this
a-
to your slave. And
you
no,
don't-
in Exodus 21, it says flat out you can beat your slave, and as long as you don't die, you're good. That's what it says. In Exodus 27, it actually breaks down who can be a slave and how long you can own them.
So listen,
You're a real Christian.
you
Name
don't
3
understand.
Striper songs. Name 3 songs
Dude,
by
I don't
Striper.
know who Striper
Then
is.
you're not a Christian.
Take your hands
Name
off,
3
please.
songs by Striper.
I don't know who that is.
You're not a Christian.
I don't know who that is.
You're not a Christian.
You can't debate
Name
me.
3
Holy
songs
Spirit.
by
Holy
Striper.
Spirit will.
Three
Hey,
songs
don't
by
touch my
Striper.
stuff.
Name them.
Don't touch my stuff.
3
You can't
songs
touch
by
my stuff.
Striper. You're not a Christian if you can't name 3 songs by Striper.
Dude, who is
To
Striper?
hell with the devil.
Who's Striper?
They're the Christian metal band. You don't know any songs by Striper. You're
No.
not a
Why would I know
Christian.
Striper?
You're not a Christian.
Get off property.
You're not
I have
a
a right to
Christian if you
You're
don't know
not-
Striper.
We have
I have a right to
hey,
do
look
You
at me right
gotta
now.
go.
We have an event permit. You are not
If you
permitted
don't
on
know
site.
Striper,
okay?
you gotta go.
You guys need to pack it up and get off site.
For a community that says they are loving and accepting, they spew hate. They will never convince me they are loving and accepting.
Of like homosexual inclination, if you're a man attracted to a person who looks and represents as a man, you know, like if you're saying pre-transition, I would say like if you're attracted to those components of that person.
But pre-transition, if you are transgender, are you a woman?
Pre-transition, you're a woman who hasn't transitioned yet, so you're presenting as a male
What
until you
if there
transition.
hasn't what if there hasn't been any bottom surgery?
What do you mean?
Like there's still an appendage.
So you're saying they transitioned everything but their bottom.
Maybe they're in the process of transitioning. Let's say fine, everything, but the.
Okay, I feel like I'm kind of confused here, so I'll just leave it in these
It
sentences.
seems really technical.
2 people that have penises. I don't care how you feel on your inside. I don't care if you dress and you wear a dress or you wear a wig. If you come together and you have sex, you're gay. And I think that is homosexual, right? So I know that people are trying, it is convoluted. So I understand why you're like, they're trying to make it something else and it's in your head. And well, what if you feel like a woman? It's very simple. If you are a man and you are having sex with a man, irrespective of how you feel or whether or not you've mutilated your body or you've chopped something off, it doesn't make you not a man. You're a man. And 2 men coming together to have sex with their appendages intact obviously is homosexual sex. So
yeah, I think you know, it's different if they're presenting completely different, because at that point, like, you know, you have men who say that they've been trapped or whatever, and I'm like, that person is straight. They literally slept with someone who was like presenting as a woman, looked like a woman, they couldn't tell. Like, I wouldn't consider that gay. But at the end of the day, like, honestly, I don't really care about people's sexual orientation that much. I feel like this is like kind of a culture war issue. And for some people, culture war issues are important, but I'd rather talk like policy about something. I don't know if that makes me boring here, but.
Well, I'm not sure I'm totally following, but I guess, so what is a woman?
I've answered this question before on the podcast.
Here, I can start with Azalea. Did I say your name right? I'm sorry.
No,
Azalea?
you never do, but it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Well, so what is a woman?
I mean, I think that gender is a spectrum. I obviously know that you do not agree with me, and a lot of the conservative people here won't agree with me, but I guess it's just how you present and how you feel. I mean, I don't like to structure things that way and like make it so black and white. I think that people should represent themselves and be what they want to be, and it's nobody else's business, to be honest.
A female is somebody that has a vagina. That's what it says in the book, right? Okay, cool.
Which book? The Bible?
The health ed book.
Oh, the health ed book.
But okay,
is a vagina.
okay.
No, but what
gender and sex are two different things. So.
Okay.
You answered the question correctly, so
Okay.
I don't want you to feel like you answered it wrong.
What is a woman?
A woman is
I'm like,
somebody.
this is so complex, I'm scared.
It doesn't need to be.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It doesn't
A
need
woman
to be.
is somebody who presents or acts as the social construct of woman, and the reason why.
That makes you a liar, not a woman. Damn, bro. Just look at that girl's expression. That statement was legit.
Once upon a time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long, Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So, even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate, you know, you're nearly 50, son.
She wasn't ready. Dominant narrative in America is white people are evil, white people suck, we should be ashamed of ourselves, and
I don't think we should be ashamed of ourselves. I think that we should take responsibility for the system that we've created.
the best system in the world?
Oh, we do not have the best system in
Who
the
has a
world.
better system?
There are many European countries that are much better off
Oh,
than
you
us.
mean like the European countries with a higher density of whites, like Northern Europe?
That's one way to phrase it, I guess.
You don't mean Turkey?
No.
You don't mean Eastern Europe?
No.
With the communists? So the only time you can come up with a system that's better than America, it's a country that's more white than America.
Emotional damage.
I don't understand.
I don't know what to say to that, so.
She's never been faced with an actual debate or critical thought.
Of course, the big question at the moment globally is, should gay men be allowed to get married? And I'm a liberal. I say yes, as long as they find the right woman. I could have been gay. I failed the oral. Don't neglect the balls. There's a lesson.
This guy rocks.
I don't know Miss Owens. I'm gonna let her own words do the talking.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. Like, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist. But if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine.
I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Luke believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today. And by the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got and she was
Well,
gonna give birth
I
and
do
she
have
would
a
no
daughter.
wait, would you want her to go through that and carry her
That's
baby?
That's awfully graphic. The
It's
answer-
no, but it's a real life scenario that happens
Calm
to
down.
many
The
people.
answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
But let me tell you why. No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. There's 2 ultrasounds I have. One is a baby conceived in, one is a baby conceived by a loving couple. Which one is which?
You don't know.
Exactly, because it's all human rights and
But
it's all
that
human
doesn't
beings.
matter.
So
It's about your daughter who has to give birth to it and is going to be tortured by that
Hold
for
on
the
a
rest
second.
of her
You-
life.
If a person conceived in walks down the side of the street, it's not like they don't get First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights.
It's
or
not
Fourth
about
Amendment
that
rights.
person.
The worst thing to do to that the daughter is to then say, hey, we're going to go murder the being inside of you. Wouldn't it be a better story to say something evil happened and we do something good in the face of
No.
evil instead of saying we're going to do evil and then murder the being because we're going to pander to the evil? No. What makes the West great is that we do good after evil, not evil after evil.
That broad is nuts. Why do the most heinous murderers get so much more due process process before being condemned to death than an innocent child in the womb.
You don't care if people die! I thought this was a cult. You don't care if people die! You care about the babies? You care about the 60 million babies that have died in America? You don't care if people die! That was really aggressive. You don't care if people die! That was really aggressive. You don't care if people die! You don't care about the 60 million babies! You don't care if people die! You don't care about the 60 million babies! You don't care if people die! Yeah, I do. You don't care if people die! Are you just gonna say that over and over? You don't care if people die!
I believe that pride parades are a good place for children?
Yes, because whether or not we want to admit it, they're going to be adults.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Showing inclusivity to the community. Just showing that everybody can love anybody.
Yes. Yes. Why?
I think that if you shelter a child from what's happening in the world, you're denying them the possibilities of their life. So if they're not seeing what pride looks like, just like any event, any parade and all that, it needs to normalize, because a lot of people, when they think of homosexuality, they just think of the act of sex and not the act of love. But if they bring their kids out, they see people having a good time, it normalizes them and makes them feel safe if they end up being gay.
Okay. Do you believe that pride parades are a good place for children?
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel like every child learns love at a young age. If they don't understand the equality of love, then they grow up to spread hate.
Absolutely. It's an all-inclusive event. It's a great way for children to see it and experience all the color and all the fun and inclusivity that we have.
So I see your attire. This is the second coming out of Christ.
Correct, Mundo.
So would you like to talk about what you're doing out here, why you dress up like Jesus?
I think people are happy, right? People are smiling, people are laughing at me, taking photos, having fun with it. It's all in good spirit.
So are you Christian?
I'm not really too much religious. I was raised Catholic, but that's about it, really.
So you're making a mockery of Christianity?
No.
What are you doing then?
Do you feel like I'm making a mockery of Christianity?
And yeah, if you're not Christian and you're dressing up as a Christian.
Am I offending you?
I'm just asking questions.
I know, but am I offending you personally?
For me personally, yes, I think it's very offensive. When is a good age to start showing your child LGBT material?
I think it depends on the person.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think the child should come to you, or do you think it's important for you to come to the child?
Child should come to you. Absolutely. I mean, you shouldn't instill your beliefs upon any of your children or anything like that. They should develop their own.
Awesome. Okay. When is a good age to start introducing your child to the LGBT?
Like the day that they go into school, 3, 4 years old. You see how many young children there are here? They're understanding that love comes from the community and not hate.
Do you think it's good for kids to see all of these sexualized things, like people kissing each other, girls kissing each other, guys in thongs, girls with their ass out, yourself?
Yes, because if you don't show them this now, then they harbor who they are as they get older. They feel like they're not included in society.
So you think sexualized activity should begin with them at a young age?
Yes, I mean, I was watching at like 8 years old.
And you think that's good?
Yeah.
I say as early as you can, but also it is within the parents' right to see whether or not they want their children to be exposed. I usually say 7, because then at least they have a little bit more of the grasp in the world around them, and they know what's going on more so.
I don't think it's something where you're going to show it to them, because it's something that should be natural. At what age do you show a child heterosexual material?
Isn't it wild that the people who scream about love and acceptance are the most angry, mean people out there?
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
And you live in this country, then you could disagree with me. But we're not. You mentioned that we have 3 different shades
Don, I think we have to be able to
here.
talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin.
Don is so creepy.
Jennifer Lawrence made the news when she demanded equal pay for women in Hollywood, and she received, overwhelming support. There were marches on the street with nurses and factory workers saying, how the hell can a 25-year-old live on 52 million? This is...
He destroyed everyone in room.
My girlfriend put me on the spot recently. She said, what are my 10 best features? I said, I like your optimism. 10? Wind your fucking neck in, love. I couldn't name 3, I'm still here.
Ich bin Feder. Ich bin eigentlich 17 Jahre alt, aber ich bin auch nebenbei ein Fuchs. Und in dem bin ich momentan 4 Monate alt.
Ich bin Zoll, ich bin 19 Jahre alt und meine Pronomen sind they, she.
So, ich bin Milo. Ich gehe mit allen Pronomen und ich bin 13 Jahre alt.
Ja, ich bin der Felix, das Alpha von einem Rudel und bin 1,5 Jahre Papi.
Ich habe 5 Namen. Ich benutze Gabriel, Luca, Bug, Mats und Fall.
I just want to read you this poster that I have because I hear a lot of pro-lifers say that life begins at conception. So my poster reads, "Life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies."
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus.
Is it living?
No.
How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus become living?
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it, because it's living. It's living.
How about you let her speak?
You're fundamentally denying science to validate your opinion.
You actively deny science, ma'am.
How am I denying? What science did I deny, Darby?
Okay, so let's look at some posters over here.
But
you don't have to be here.
I need you to tell me what science. You just made an accusation that I denied science. What science did I deny?
That it's a child inside of you. It is a clump of cells when
I'm a clump of cells. What makes me different?
That you were born. You were born.
So you don't. What you're arguing is that anything that is not born is not valuable of life.
I did not say that.
It's subjective. So when does a child or fetus or clump of cells, whatever you want to call it, when does this clump of cells or fetus become living?
When it can sustain its own life.
But when is that? When is the sustainability? No, when is sustainability?
21. About like 30 weeks to born, like.
Because how do you sustain life? Like my newborns aren't sustainable. You can't just have a newborn and they just like live on their own, right?
Right.
They're not sustainable. They need help and assistance to survive. So is a newborn not worthy of life? Is a newborn not worthy of life?
I do have one thing to say to you. How is it that when my mom was in college 30 years ago, she was protesting the exact same thing that me and these wonderful other women and men on this side have been protesting? How is it? Why? Why are we still protesting? Why are we still having to talk about this issue? It is a basic human right to have an abortion, to have a choice.
The reason we're still having the question is because some people don't want to accept the natural consequences of heterosexual sex and be inconvenienced by another human life and want to selfishly choose to end human life in order to have their whims met. That is why you're still...
Funny how living people who are given the chance to be born want to take it away from so many other people who aren't born yet. That's a wrap. What are your thoughts on it? Leave a comment below, like this video, and subscribe for more. See you next time.